Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is my fourth and final quarterly wrap up of the year. So basically these are the books that I read from October through December in 2021. I only have 5 of them with me physically. The other ones I borrowed or are being borrowed or I read on ebook, things like that. So let's just get right into it. Firstly, it was October, so I had to get in some spooky vibes. So I read Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This was my first Riley Sager book. I really liked it. People don't have great things to say about it. Maybe because it was my first Riley Sager book and so I didn't have any expectations for what it was supposed to be or how I wanted it to play out or how compared to their other books, I don't know, how I thought it should be. But yeah, I had no expectations and I really liked it. I'm not a huge thriller mystery person, but I liked the whole psychological aspect. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but I thought the plot as a whole, the way the plot explained itself and the plot twists and stuff, I thought it was perfect and I thought it worked out great. Some people didn't like it, but I liked it. Basically, our main character, Charlie, she needs a ride home because she's at college. Her best friend at college, who she looks up to and thinks is so cool, she passes away and she's murdered. And they're looking for the killer. They think it's this killer that's been coming back and forth for decades to the campus and killing women. And she just can't handle being on campus right now, so she's like, I've got to go home. Well, she needs a ride, and this guy says, hey, I'm going that way too, I'll take you. And she's so desperate to leave that she just does it. So they start to ride together and things start seeming fishy. Things aren't quite adding up. She has these kind of hallucinations in her head of movies that play out, and she's starting to get them more often and she can't tell when she's having those or when it's real life. And yeah, it's a lot, but I really liked it. By the way, I'm not going to be giving my ratings star wise. If you're interested in that, they're all on my Goodreads. Next, to get a little break from the spooky vibes, I read Yoo-Hoo, Why You Matter and How to Deal with It by Rachel Jankovic. This is a Christian book. She talks about basically your value and how we express and determine our value through today's world and where we find value in ourselves, and how none of that matters and God is the one who gives us value, and who we are saved through Jesus Christ is how we are valued and who we are. It was really interesting. Like any Christian book, I don't know, with the ones I've read at least, they say it in a way where it almost is not true. The thing itself that they're saying is true, but the way they're saying it is almost makes it seem not true. You know what I mean? I did really like it though. I thought it was super helpful. I ended up highlighting a bunch of sentences and passages and stuff in it and wrote in the margins, which I don't normally do. Next, I wanted more Halloween-y, scary vibes. This book isn't scary, it's a super lighthearted, rom-com, but it is Halloween vibes, The Ex Hex. This book is about a young witch who, when she's a teenager or young, I can't remember the exact age, she's young though, she accidentally puts a curse on her ex-boyfriend, who's also a witch, and it comes back to bite them, years later. And now the town is cursed. They unleash a cursed magic into the town and all these hijinks start happening. It's really fun. It's a fun book. It was, I think I remember it being steamy in some parts, which I don't really care for, but it didn't really bother me. And I don't really normally like witchy and curses and stuff like that, but this was cute and it didn't really lay it on super heavy, so it was good. Next, I read 4 Days of You and Me. This was a super light, super short book that I read through my Kindle app, but it turned out being really cute. I thought it was just going to be something I could read really quick, really easy, but it was very cute. It's about these kind of, I don't know if you'd call it enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers, academic rivals to lovers. I can't really remember, but they go to school together and they were always competing, and it takes you through their freshman through senior year one day, and it's their journey of getting together and, not a spoiler alert, breaking up and getting back together and, you know, on again, off again, will they, won't they. It was a good book. I was really rooting for the two characters to get together. So next I read A Love Letter Life by Jeremy and Audrey Roloff. This is another Christian book, but I think that truly anybody could learn from this. I don't think you have to be a Christian to get something out of reading this. And I just feel like I learned so much just about like who I am, what I want in a relationship, how to go about certain things in a relationship. And I don't think that they're experts by any means, but they go through, you know, what they learned from others, what they learned from each other through breaking up, through long distance, you know, they went through a lot in their relationship, and I think they give some great advice. And I think especially if you're a Christian, they give you advice on how to, you know, deal with things like purity and temptation and long distance and things like that. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anybody if you're married, dating, single, anybody. Next, we started getting into the holiday season, so I read A Court of Frost and Starlight. If you don't know what A Court of Frost and Starlight is, it is kind of like the holiday special of the A Court series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's basically Christmas, but they don't call it Christmas, they call it solstice. It's just kind of a short, not really a lot of like essential plot things happen, like essential to the series, and very winter vibes. And I think if you like the series, you'll like it just because, you know, you get an extra peek into all the characters when like there's stuff still going on, but they're like kind of forcing themselves to take a break for the holiday, and so it's a fun read. Continuing the holiday vibes, I read Nick and Noelle's Christmas Playlist. This is just the ultimate best friends to lovers. He comes back from the military. He comes back from overseas and he's expecting to get back with his girlfriend, and she's basically like, I'm done with you. So he finds comfort in his best friend Noelle. Obvi. This is really, really steamy, and I didn't know it was going to be going into it. It wasn't like super descriptive or anything. It's basically them going through their holiday activities, but now they're starting to have feelings for each other, and she's trying to get over this guy that she was sleeping with, and he's trying to get over his ex-girlfriend. But are they just trying to get over people, or do they really have feelings for each other? It's a slow burn. I mean, they get together, but then, you know, miscommunication and misunderstandings, and do they actually like each other? And so it just goes on forever. I make it sound like it wasn't good. I actually really liked it. But it is long. It's like a drawn out process of them getting together. Yeah, it was really cute and very Christmassy, so it served its purpose. Ow! Then I decided that wasn't enough holiday, Christmassy romance, so I read The Holiday Swap. And it was my December book of the month. This is basically every, you know, twin swap book. One of the twins is injured. She's a famous chef on a cooking show, and she gets injured and she loses her taste and smell. Obviously, she can't be a judge on this cooking show, and she's afraid that if she does poorly or she leaves the show, they're not going to pick her up for her own show, which she wants really badly. So she calls her twin sister who runs the family bakery back home, and they swap places. And they both have a love interest, and it was just really cute. Obviously there was like some drama and issues in it, but there was lots of baking and snow and a small little cute town with a bakery. It didn't feel super cheesy, and I liked it. Then, don't worry, I read yet another romance holiday book. I read In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. I had never read a Christina Lauren book, and now I want to read more because I really liked it. The main character, she goes to this cabin with her family every Christmas, and they meet up with this other family who they're like best friends with. It's like the parents are all four best friends. I think that this somehow ties into another Christina Lauren book, but since I haven't read any more Christina Lauren books, I didn't pick up on it. But the parents and their friends from college and stuff, they all meet up for Christmas at this cabin. And so at the end of vacation, she's done all these crazy things. She kissed her best friend who she thinks of as a brother. They were both drunk and they kissed, and she's regretting it. And then now The parent friends who own the cabin say they're gonna sell it, and so she's on her way home and she's super depressed, and her family get in a car wreck, and she wakes up and they're on the airplane headed back to the cabin to start the week or 2 weeks or month, something like that, to start it all over again. So it just goes through her like trying to fix her mistakes and trying to figure out what the universe wants out of her, like why she started over. And she has a crush on the best friend that she kissed before, his older brother. She is trying to explain to people, and everybody thinks she's crazy. All the things happen that you would think would happen in a time traveling Groundhog Day situation. Obviously there's a romance. I almost didn't forgive our love interest by the end. I eventually did, but I almost didn't, because, you know, obviously there's gonna be a big fight, and in the big fight he kind of said some hurtful stuff, and I was like, dang, do I forgive him for that? But ultimately she did, so it doesn't matter what I think. Another good, cute little Christmas romance. That's what I wanted. So then I took a break from the Christmas and I read The Hating Game. I completely understand why people say this is like their favorite romance book of all time, because I don't know about my like top favorite, but it's definitely up there. I just like immediately loved Josh, the love interest. I think he's great. I think he's complex. I love how he wasn't just like, oh, I'm a jerk to you, but it's because I like you. And, you know, he wasn't just like super like flat 2D, like he had some depth to him. It's about Lucy and Joshua. They work in a publishing company, and it's these two separate companies that had to merge, and so there's basically like two leaders. There's the woman leader and the man leader, and Josh is the man's right-hand man and Lucy is the woman's right-hand woman. So they're always at each other's throats and they're super competitive. It was just written so well. The romance was so believable. I don't know, I just liked it. It's just warm, fuzzy vibes. I definitely get the hype. I watched the movie after. I didn't like it as well. Obviously, I like the second that I finished the book, I watched the movie. So I was super critical because I had the book super clearly on my mind. But as far as a movie adaptation goes, it was good. I love this book. It's great. It's fantastic. And I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. It gave me butterflies. And that is it. That concludes all the books that I read for 2021. I ended up reading 32 books in total. My goal was 30, so hey. My goal for this year is 45, but I've only finished one so far. We're almost halfway through January. So I don't know how that's gonna go, but I'm gonna try. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Bye!